reason that we are the way we are is because they did it, not we ourselves. We are not inherently bad. You have oppressed us. You went to Africa with the Bible. We had the land. When you left Africa, you had the land and we had the Bible. Now we have to explain to our people that this individual nonsense cannot do for us, because they will preach that individual nonsense and we will believe it and keep integrating their Wall Streets. We have to make a new slogan: one people, one voice. And we have to move as a people in our neighborhood to control. We have to stop reacting and we have to become aggressive. We can no longer stand up and beg anybody for a victory or a concession, because I'm here to tell you that if you beg a man for a victory, he gives it to you. It's his victory, not yours. And when we win the victory, remember, to the victor belongs the spoil, and we're going to take it all.
I'm back. Thank you for tapping in. This is Brian HRap Williams, Man of the Bench Media. This is a program called A Few Minutes with HRap. Thank you for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share, subscribe if you have not. As usual, what I want you to do is, if you're coming in late, I want you to go to www.theendofthebench.com. You can watch this in its entirety, and you can also watch the Black History information that I'll give you on my website. It's pretty nice. Check it out. Subscribe, like, subscribe, and do all the things over there. And again, this is A Few Minutes with HRap. What I do today is hopefully inspire people to make their great-grandchildren's grandchildren life better than we could ever imagine. I also thank my parents, Dolores and John, at the top of every show. Dolores is my mom. John is my father. Without them, there is no me. Without me, you'd be doing something else with your valuable time. So what I want to do is this. Basically, just start at the top. Basically, this was inspired by an interview I saw on a show called The Breakfast Club. It's an internet program, and it shows this radio crew, and they participate in the spectacle and the spectacular. There's two ways to look at these things. The spectacle will get people to pay attention. It will stop. It is a train wreck. It is a car accident. It is someone injured on the ground. It is spectacle. That's what makes you pay attention. And the spectacular is what makes you stay, what engages you. Like if you saw someone saving someone's life, you saw someone doing something tremendous, that gets you to stay. What it seems that, and from my point of view, we are caught in the spectacle of the world. The spectacle of the world is whatever goes viral, the newest dance, the latest craze. But we must start realizing that the spectacle is not good for us, because the spectacle becomes a distraction. It is a whole distraction in our community. We can no longer engage in the spectacle, because the spectacle becomes a distraction, and it slows down the progress of our community. If you're paying attention to the United States federal government, the United States federal government is being overrun by tyrannical megalomaniacs. These people are pushing towards the destruction of everybody who's not them, or the oppression of everyone that's like them, because they don't want to do the work, so they don't want to destroy us, but they want us in a subservient role. They want us to have a lack of knowledge. With a lack of knowledge, you'll take a lack of action. With a lack of action, you'll be placed in a subservient place for the rest of your existence in this world. You'll be in a caste system, which the rich will continue to get richer, the poor will continue to get poor, and it is a rare opportunity for people to rise above the foolishness, the madness, the discrimination, and the denigration. And that's what I want us to pay attention to at this point. We are trapped in this caste system that is not doing us any good, and we want to be spectacular, but we seem to be locked into the spectacle of things. When you participate in the spectacle of things, because we are in a capitalistic society, and capitalism tells you to work. It promotes things like rugged individualism. It promotes things like do for self and don't worry about anybody else. But that's not the way the good Lord designed you. You are a caring, you are a nurturing, you are a artistic, a vibrant people that spreads nothing but glee, joy, and love throughout the universe. And if you are not living in your space, and that does not mean run up on people, hug them, But what it does mean is if you're not living up to your life to your fullest, then that's why you have so much anxiety and depression and things of that nature, because you're not flourishing like a flower. Imagine a flower that traditionally blooms like this, but it never gets to the opportunity to bloom. It just sits in a situation to whereas it's a bud. It's a constant bud forever. You will never see the beauty of the flower. The flower never lives up to its capability. And trust and believe, Black community and people here in the United States of America, that's where we're living right now. Because you think opulence is the key. You think an abundance is the key. It would take me to this portion of the Bible called Exodus. Exodus, these people have they're on a journey, and it ends up being a 40-year journey. And God kept giving them things that they needed. They had enough. They had enough. They had enough. They never wanted too much. And at one point, they had meat, and the instruction was to eat what you needed today and keep it moving. People stopped putting it in their pockets and put it in their bags, and they kept going, and those things rotted right on top of them. This is not a story. Oh man, that didn't happen. It's not about if it happened or not. It's the lesson in the story. It is the allegorical portion of the story, meaning you don't need 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 million. Metaphorically, you need enough. And then if you can share, and then those people start sharing with you, you will get back what you gave out. Made me think I was a hypocrite. I might have to share something with somebody today. I just called myself out. You didn't hear it. But what I want you to understand is this. When you live in a capitalistic society, you're taught to only worry about yourself. That's why you have people and living in a life of the spectacle, which is over my shoulder. Dame Dash, Sean Combs, Damon Dash, Sean Combs, and Marion Suge Knight. And then you had the spectacular, which is James Prince and Percy Miller. Why would I pick those two? All three of these men did the same thing. And it ended up being spectacular. Man, it's some brothers running these rap labels, and they went from nothing. They went from impoverished communities, like Percy Miller, known as Master P, started off with 10 grand. You know, Sean Combs, he went to private school, but one of his parents was a street merchant, so to speak. Damon Dash came from Harlem, New York. Marion Knight comes from Compton, California, and they all started from nothing or very little, and they turned it into $100 million situations. But they wanted to participate in the spectacle. These three gentlemen. And where are they now? Damon Dash is a laughing stock in the music industry. The man is insanely intelligent. When you listen to him speak, you understand that he has a wealth of knowledge, but he's a spectacle at this point. Sean Combs was made a spectacle with his personal life. Marion Knight, he was made a spectacle because he's in and out of the penitentiary. He went from on his way potentially to be a billionaire to now spending probably the remainder of his days incarcerated. These two gentlemen, James Prince and Percy Miller, you know what they did? They allowed the people, Fiend and Mamma Mia and Mystical and the other people and Scarface and Willie D and Bushwick and Bun B and Pimp C. They allowed their talents, the people who they hired to be in front, they allowed them to be in front. And these two men have not missed a beat. And these three men, their lives are in shambles right now. Damon and Sean have the ability with their freedom to regain their dominance. But this is the difference in spectacle and spectacular. We can no longer aspire to be the spectacle because, yes, like me, I refuse to be a spectacle. I've had a guest on my show he was about to expose people's personal lives. And guess what? I probably would, with that information, telling the world about entertainers who speak anti-drugs and participate in the drug trade, that probably would have helped me go viral. But I refuse to be a spectacle. So you can see that I'm spectacular. Either you're going to find out that I'm spectacular by tapping in, or what you're going to do is miss the opportunity to enjoy what I'm doing. I understand that, yeah, At the end of the day, the money thing is the goal. I want to be rich as all get out, just like everybody else, but I am not. I refuse to get rich at your expense. I can expose them and the whole world will see that they're frauds. Not my place to do. Yes, again, I want my podcast to be as successful as possible, but I will not risk making a spectacle of anybody so I can look spectacular. And that seems to be the problem. We participate in total chaos and mass confusion. We believe that these chaotic things like viral videos and fights and all this nonsense, we've reduced ourselves to a culture that you will see a woman or individual that doesn't have gender doesn't have to play a role being accosted, beat to a pulp, embarrassed, and we don't say, hey, let's slow this down. We pull out our phones and we yell out things like world star and look at this, look at this. Meanwhile, this person is being physically, emotionally destroyed. Because do you think about while you're watching this person be embarrassed beyond belief? And now they know why they're being that. First of all, I'm under attack, which has got to be hell. I've been jumped, but I've never been jumped on film. So now you're worried about getting out of this chaotic situation. And then when it's over, you're worried about the whole world seeing your most embarrassing moment, emotionally and physically taxing. And you carry that baggage. But what we used to do is say, hey, I can remember a time in my life where I had a physical fist fight with a young man. He started with me, and I was a more stout. We the same height, but I was more stout than he was. And the older gentleman in the community broke it up. He said, hey, stop this. Because it's not about the spectacle. We both could have been spectacular, but we don't have to destroy each other to be as such. And that's why I'm talking about this. That is total chaos and mass confusion, because you're confused because you think the whole world will see me and then I'll become rich at the expense of HRap. HRap is getting beat to a pulp, and now I'm going to capitalize off of it. Capitalism at its finest. I'm going to capitalize off the anguish of HRap. I'm going to capitalize on the pain of HRap, the embarrassment of HRap. And it doesn't make a difference if he's injured, his son is injured, his daughter's injured, their family name is corrupted. I've benefited off the total chaos and the mass confusion of the world. We can no longer do it. That's why I mentioned the Percy Millers and the James Prince versus the Seans, the Damons, and the Marions. Marion Suge Knight. If you don't know that's his first name, that's his actual first name. His surname is Knight. His first name is Marion. His nickname, or pseudonym is Suge. We need to start addressing these men. These men accomplished some wonderful things. They've created something from nothing. They had a system set up to break them down. These two individuals did not want to participate in the spectacle. They wanted their businesses to be spectacular. These men wanted to be part of the spectacle and let their spectacular acumen, business acumen, be put to the side because they wanted to be part of the spectacle. They wanted to be part of the total chaos and the mass confusion versus benefiting from their genius. Anytime you come from an impoverished neighborhood, look, here's the beautiful thing. It's only one man on this screen. What, two men, myself and Brother Miller. We're only two college educated. James isn't. Sean isn't. He went to one of the most prestigious institutions in the United States of America. Damon isn't. Marion, I think Marion left school early, but Marion may be a college educated. But these guys took the information, they studied, they enhanced their mind, and they took their dream, they embedded they had a dream in their minds, and they made it become reality, much like I'm doing currently. But we can no longer participate in the spectacle of the world because you want to beat up people. You want to be in a gang fight. Your business is worth $100 million and you want to participate in a gang fight. You allegedly have done nefarious things that have been horrendous to women. And this brother, I don't really know what his deal is at this point. I'm not going to excoriate him, but he has been financially reduced and he's a spectacle now. when all 5 of these men had spectacular lives simultaneously. They were all at the top of their field at the same time. This is when spectacular is not even on the menu. These two gentlemen, brother Prince and brother Miller, they said, I'm gonna be spectacular. I'm not gonna participate in your clown show. And these 3 brothers said, what a wig, what a red shoes, and the big nose. That's what they did. And if I would meet with these guys and they got a problem with what I'm saying, so be it. But we can no longer promote this kind of behavior. Hey, I'm just trying to get rich. At what expense? Again, a couple of days ago, I said, what's your brand? What's these 3 brothers' brand right now? Embarrassment. Their parents are embarrassed. Their ancestors are embarrassed. Their children are embarrassed. They're the laughing. Damon currently is the laughing stock, and he's being known as a liar. And he, as I won't even call him a prevaricator, because he does have a specific deal. It's just not the deal that it's over. He over exaggerated the deal from my research. Brother Combs, no one will probably want to work with him because his name is permanently damaged. And Brother Knight may never get out of the penitentiary. You go from being worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and now you're incarcerated, not being a grandfather, not being a father, not being a friend, not being an uncle, not being a homie, not being anything but an example of what not to do. Now, some of us are put here as examples, but that's not the example our Brother Knight needs to have. Look at Brother Miller and Brother Prince. People respect them. You know, Snoop Dogg says he taught him everything he knows about business acumen. Brother Prince, he's in boxing, he's in entertainment, he's in the spirits, meaning liquor. He has built an empire and sustained the empire, even with the attacking of the United States federal government. This is what we're up against, because we teach people to engage in the spectacular. In the spectacle, not to be spectacular. We want our children the spectacle of sports, the spectacle of entertainment, not the spectacular of management, ownership, property ownership, entrepreneurship. Because guess what? If you made $350 million in the NFL, NBA, or MLB, congratulations, bravo. That is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful accomplishment. There's nothing bad about, hey man, I made $100 million or $300 million or $500 million. You deserve a round of applause. But the spectacular part is to be Jerry Jones, Al Davis, one of the Steinbrenners, the Hunt family, the dude, I can't think of the dude name, who owns Home Depot, Arthur Blank, Bob Kraft. That's the spectacular. Because if I can imagine this is what I want you to take into consideration. Do you want to be the guy that cashed the $300 million check, or the guy that can write a $300 million check? And I learned that from Bob Johnson, former owner of BET, the creator of BET, and former owner of the Charlotte Hornets. At the time, they were the Bobcats. They asked him, Bob, how did you become the first black man to own a team in the National Basketball Association? His response was paramount. I'm the first black man to be able to write a $300 million check and give them the money. So that means we need to be aspiring to be the people who write the checks and not cash the checks. There's 1.5 million, or even with the tyrannical megalomaniacs that are in in charge of the government currently, there's still ways around it. If we work together, we, like Dr. Greg Carr said this week with Carr, we have them surrounded. You don't even realize that you have them surrounded. But once we stop being part of the spectacle, and then being part of spectacular, we'll do away with that total chaos, meaning fighting our brothers. I'm foundational Black American. I'm this, I'm that, I'm better than this, I'm better than that. Stop being that. And what we will be is a nation of Black people, a world of Black people working together to do away with the megalomaniacs, the egomaniacs, and the simpletons, and the people who participate in hate speech on a regular basis. See, you even believe that there's such thing as race. You believe that you're better than people. You believe in these fictitious lines that have been drawn on maps that people who have no humanity have drawn. And I'm not talking about a specific group of people. What I'm talking about is people who participate in these things, the Clarence Thomases of the world, the Byron Donalds of the world, the Jason Whitlocks of the world, the Candace Owen of the world. These people will stand around and reduce the value of themselves and people who look like them to earn a dollar. Again, that's not what we need to be, but that's what we are. So what we're going to do, again, we're going to reduce our limitation, reduce our experiences to the chaos and the foolishness of the world that's around us today. We're no longer going to participate in the spectacle. We're going to be spectacular. We're no longer going to participate in the chaos and the mass confusion. What we're going to do is buy into the greatness of who we are and the greatness of our community and the greatness of our ancestors, and we'll move forward and then let leaders lead, not shine. Again, it references the 5 brothers that are behind me. When you have people who are in leadership, we don't need to shine more than them. Where is this intercultural competition? If you want to compete with someone in this community and this in the world of humanities, what I want you to do is compete to see be the best person you can be. Compete to be the best person you can be. Compete to see if you can help enough elders, help enough children, help enough women, help enough men. That's the competition. Can I leave my mark on the world? Can I be a leader? Because the beauty of being a leader, is you never have to tell anybody, I'm the man. Other people see you and say, he the man. The difference in being a spectacle and spectacular is this. As a leader, I don't have to say I'm the man. Our brother Marion, he spent a lot of his time showing people I have power. I can control people. And Brother Prince had the same type of credibility and nobody ever heard his voice. Up until he wrote a book about 8 years ago, you rarely heard that brother's voice. Brother Miller never said he was the best rapper in the world. What he said was, I'm going to put my people on, and Snoop Dogg and Mama Mia and other people stood up and said, he helped me. That's true leadership. That's no longer being a spectacle. That's being spectacular. That is the spectacle versus the spectacular. And of course, it'll be somebody in the world, oh, well, he did me wrong. And you know what? If you spend your life trying to impress people and trying to make people believe in what you believe in, you will be wasting your time. You're not gonna put an impression on everybody. You're not gonna convince most people. You're not gonna do that. What you're going to do is the people who want to be better, you will help them be better. The people who engage in activities that will enhance the culture, you will influence them. You will put yourself in a situation to whereas you are the rising tide that lift all boats. You are leaders. You're not shining, because our brothers right here, Marion, Damon, Sean, they were trying to shine. Percy, James, they led. And you see the difference? These men's life, these men right here, their lives are in total chaos and mass confusion. And these brothers right here are leading men and helping men. And as a matter of fact, our brother Percy, he's a guy who is a person who people refers to. Hey, go talk to Percy. Go talk to Master P, because when you talk to Master P, he'll put you up on what you need to know. Talk to James. He diffuses chaotic situation. He reduces violence in the community and in the culture. And then you got other people in the culture who will remain nameless. I'm not here to excoriate anybody. They get online, they go in locker room or clubhouse, excuse me. They go to clubhouse and they start arguments and fights, and then they go on these podcasts and they call out names. I'm just telling the truth and I'm keeping it real. And they calling people the N-word and this MF this and punk and chump and clown, and they're not accomplishing anything. See, I'm keeping it real, real ignorant, real destructive, real very chaotic. You're trying to shine and you're no longer leading. This is what I want people to understand. When you are a true leader, you don't have to do anything but lead. And guess what? All of the spoils of victory will come to you. Everybody who needs to know will know. Those who know don't talk, and those who talk really don't know. If you're telling everybody how great you are, if you have to say, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, you probably are convincing yourself of that, and there's nothing wrong with saying that in your head. But when you say it to the world, now you are subjected to questions. You're subjected to other opinions, and your character is being questioned. And everything you do will be microanalyzed. And why is it always picking on me? Because you told everybody you were that. You own what you think. We own, the world owns what you say. And when you have true leadership, you understand, I don't have to say, I just have to do it. When I do, I'll get it done. What's understand needs not be said. That does not need to be said. Thank you, RC. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. And thank you. Hit that like and hit that share, please. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Share and tap in and subscribe if you haven't already. But this is what I want people to understand. We are caught up in the spectacle of things. When you in the spectacle of things, the spectacle dies out. And then when that flames out, where are you? But when you get caught, when you focused on being spectacular, when you shine, the sun does not shine on me in Chicago and not hit RC in Minnesota or Poetic Sins in South Carolina or D-Grade in LA. It hits us all at the same time. That's the beauty in the sun. Nature will get you through most things in this world. You don't see a bunch of fat animals in the wild. You just don't. You don't see inactivity in the wild. It's an African proverb. No, you can let a piece of wood sit in the river for 10,000 years. It's not going to turn into an alligator. Meaning, if you don't get up, get out and do something, you are not going to be what you want to be. And telling people what you want to be is definitely not going to get you there. We are up against a ton of things, people. We are up against things that we don't even know that we're up against. We've been duped and trained into believing, oh, well, you have to do this, and enough with the excuses. No. If I have the sniffles and my nose is running and I'm coughing, I don't need to take cough syrup. I don't need to take antihistamine. I don't need to take drugs. What I need to do is clean my area around me, because all I'm going to do is reinfect myself with what is called the rhinovirus, which initiates the common cold. So when I address the rhinovirus, I'm not making excuses. I'm cleaning my areas. I'm cleaning my areas. Perfect example, 5 years ago, today, we were in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis. When we were at home, we were over wiping down our counters. We were changing our bed clothes. We were Lysoling things to no end. And none of us had a cold for about 3 years. We walk around with sanitizer in our pocket. You hit a door, sanitize. You touch a car, sanitize. You come home, sanitize. You were over indexing on cleanliness, and nobody even caught a cold. And the more we got away from over indexing and clean, the sniffles came back, the coughs came back, the runny noses came back, and we had colds again. And now we scared, do I have a cold? Do I have COVID? Because we slowed down, because we engage in things that are not for leaders that are not because we want to shine, because it's easy to shine. Look at me. We want spectacle versus spectacular. Spectacular takes a lot longer. It makes you have to wipe your countertops, your doorknobs, your television remotes. Make sure your bed clothes are clean. Clean your bathroom. Everything around you is sanitized. The spectacular is walking outside. You see me? Check me out. Oh, wow. Check me out. Bam, 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 bam. And that's why our three brothers over here are in danger. Their freedom is in jeopardy. Their freedom is in jeopardy, and their finances are in jeopardy. Three geniuses. Three people who created something from nothing versus the spectacular. I don't need to be in the front. I created this. You go out there, you make the money, I'll help you, and we'll move forward. You see how easy it is? But when you don't understand that, then you fall victim to not knowing your past, not knowing your present, so you can predict what the future will be. Those three brothers, all five of these men, learned the music industry, learned the entertainment industry, learned the law, learned all the rules. These two over here, they learned the rules of survival, and the three over here, they learned the rules of spectacle. Right here is a movie called Sinners, but this movie is a metaphor of what we're dealing with in these United States. I want you to watch this, and you already know if it's not going to be in its entirety, but what I would love for you to do is go to www.theendofthebench.com, and you'll be able to give the credit to me as a visitor to my website. You'll be able to watch the entire video, which is credit to the creator, and then we all make progress. I'll be back shortly. I want you to pay attention to this. It's important.
Return home seeking refuge and redemption alongside their cousin Sammy, who is a prodigy with a musical talent that can't be ignored. They open up a vibrant juke joint, hoping that music might temporarily free them from oppression, but they're quickly confronted with reality even darker and more ruthless than Jim Crow racism. So join us today while we unpack the Black experience from the movie Sinners. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. And if you like audio only episodes, you can find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. But without further ado, let's get started. In the stifling heat of Clarksdale, Mississippi in 1932, amidst fields heavy with cotton and despair, Ryan Coogler's powerful film Sinners opens upon this scene, drawing audiences into a world where history itself seems to breathe through the cotton fields and whisper stories of hardship, sorrow, and a quiet resistance. Historically, Clarksdale was birthed from a land once settled by a man by the name of John Clark, and it was once a hub for enslavement and cotton plantations. Over the decades, it matured into a town that symbolized Black suffering and cultural vibrance. The oppressive sharecropping system that dominated here transformed Black men and women into economic captives, perpetually bound by debt servitude to landowners. By 1932, the Great Depression had culminated in widespread ruin. And in Mississippi, one of the poorest states in the Union, Black families bore an especially severe burden. Rampant unemployment forced Black families into exploitative labor arrangements. Under this sharecropping system, Black tenant farmers produced crops on land owned by white landowners, often from receiving payment only in the form of plantation scrips rather than actual currency. This money could only be spent at the plantation store. And this practice perpetuated economic dependency, making it impossible for Black sharecroppers to escape this cycle of debt. Additionally, this time period was marked by peak Jim Crow segregation and violence. By custom and by law, Black Mississippians were harshly segregated from whites and forced to occupy inferior spaces, and living under this constant threat, including lynchings. Black communities in Mississippi faced daily reminders of this deeply entrenched white supremacist system. With fear and intimidation, this power structure worked relentlessly to silence Black voices and to stifle even the smallest forms of resistance. From 1882 to 1968.
Do you hear that? 1882 to 1968. 1882 to 1968, you're dealing with this type of chaotic situation. And this is why we will gravitate towards the spectacular, because we don't want to go. I mean, we gravitate towards the spectacle because we don't want to live in that same struggle that we lived in 57 years ago, going back from 57 years ago into the 1800s. And again, we don't even realize these type of things that are embedded in us. It's epigenetically coded into us. It is inculcated into who we are, and what we are about. Because no one wants to live like that. No one wants to. You want to be educated. You want to be put in a room where you're in there with the first, second, third, fourth, fifth through eighth graders. You don't want to live like that. You want to live better. That's why we reduce ourselves to selling poisons, using poisons, and pushing poisons into the community. That's why we do this. Are you just innately violent? No. I was put into a system. That promoted that made me feel. And we all know that feeling will take you further than reality, and especially in the world today. Excuse me. Feeling will take you farther than reality in the world today, because that feeling of dismay and desperation will make you feel as if you have no other choices. See, again, you can talk about the sniffles, you can talk about the cough, you could talk about the runny eyes and the fever, but the only way to get past those things is to find the source and clean up the source. That leads me to this. We rise. Once we realize that the spectacle is only to get people attention, and the spectacular is what makes people stay. The best metaphor I could use is a sports analogy. If you see a baseball player run and make a spectacular catch, you paid attention. But if he makes a couple more catches and he hits a home run and he steals a base, that's the spectacular part that makes you watch. Now you're engaged into him. But guess what? It takes a lot of work to become spectacular. And that's where we rise. We understand this. We stop pushing down others. We get into the point where we raise people up. You have people. I was watching a portion of Gilbert Arenas' podcast when he had Shakur on there, and the young brother was praising another boxer, and he had to stop and let the world know, y'all gonna call it, say I'm glazing. No, I'm celebrating my brother. You got a young man who said Bud Crawford was a major contributor to his success. Bud Crawford is a friend of his who took time out of his life to help him, but he is afraid to celebrate a man who helped him be successful. He's glazing, because we want to be part of the spectacle and not the spectacular. Don't you realize if you lift Bud up and you help somebody, and then they lift you up and they help somebody, we all get lifted up. Now it's Bud on the top, it's Shakur Stevens on the top, it's one of the Charlo brothers on the top, it's Floyd Mayweather on the top, it's Ray Leonard on the top, and they all reach down at the person on the bottom and lift them up. We can do that in our community. I have done it. I went into an industry in my early 20s. I became wildly successful. I got placed in the management. I became the number one person in this business in these United States of America. So I had my man Keith, and I had my man Dana, and I had my man Big Illinois, and my cousin was fresh out of the penitentiary, and I grabbed him. Another cousin was sick of his job. I grabbed him, and then we created the ability to hire other people. We created a business out of that. See, that's how it works. We rise together or we fail together. I don't want to hear about, well, look at what Oprah did. Oprah did not do that alone. It used to be a show called AM Chicago. And when they put a black woman on that, most people in the community did not watch AM Chicago. It was a outside the culture program. And when you put this black lady named Oprah Winfrey on there, we started paying attention, and she became Oprah Winfrey. She became a national phenomenon and a worldwide phenomenon. You don't make it by yourself. You have Cassius Marcellus Clay, and then he meets Angelo Dundee, and then he meets this hype man named Bodini Brown, then he meets this brother named Malcolm X, and then he meets this elder named the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who introduced him to Islam, who introduced him to a different way of life, which elevated him, and now he's a cherished individual worldwide. His ability, his natural God-given abilities got him to a point. And Dundee helped him, and Brother Malcolm helped him, and then Brother Bundini Brown helped him, and then the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad helped him, and then other people like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jim Brown, and Bill Russell supported him. They uplifted him at his worst moment. And guess what? He became one of the most revered people in the history of the world. Shakur Stevens could be the future pound for pound boxer in the world. He's that pound for pound king. He's that talented. Yes, this is a good he seems to be a good young man. I've watched him box, but guess what? He's proof positive of what I just said. According to him, Bud Crawford in his downtime, in between fights, he don't even have a fight schedule, would fly down to Houston and spar with him for 12 rounds. For 12 rounds, but I don't have to do that. Again, we either rise together or we fail together. Nobody is successful on their own. You know, you look at our brother Floyd. I mean, I'm the greatest of all time. He needed Roger. He needed Floyd Sr. He needed my friend Nate Jones and other people around him to help him get there. That's what I want you to understand. The people who have donned my airwaves, the people who supporting right now, the people who are watching right now. I could just be some dude spouting off his opinions and talking to myself. But guess what? I received a notification that 550,000 people have paid attention. Shout out to each and every one of y'all. Shout out to the people in the chat room right now. Thank you. Because the spectacle is, hey man, this guy sold dope. Ta-da! But the spectacular is, hey man, we can do this, we can do this, and we can do this to make each and every one of us get better. And for the people who sit around, that will never work. Shout out to you, man. I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad you've identified yourself as a doubter. You're not a hater. I'm not going to call you a hater. You're a doubter. But guess what? I'm going to take one step backward from you, and I'm going to allow you to do what you do to ensure that ensure your success. And once you ensure your success, you'll show me. Or otherwise, I'm going to be here offering, I'm identifying problems, and I'm offering potential solutions. And that's how I will move forward with my life. And then guess what? It's going to work for me, and your method will work for you. I don't have to tell you, you don't know this and that and this and that. Hey, man, because guess what? I have done, at one point in my life, I made all the wrong turns and ended up in the right place. I have literally done that, done everything I could wrong, and found myself in a place of employment where I was able to take care of my family. I've done everything right and found myself in a place of dismay. So everybody has their path, but on that path, we will rise together or we will fail as one. Those are the only things in this world that are facts. You're going to either be successful on your own, as a group, or you will fail as a group. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people believe that just because I've said this and I've said that, I will fail, because no one, and I do mean not a person in the history of this universe, have made it on their own. Someone gave you a positive word. Someone gave you, at your lowest, somebody said, hey man, you be all right. A stranger could walk along and say, you're going to be all right, brother. You're going to be all right, sister. It's okay. Somebody gave you some assistance. So we can continue to participate in the spectacle, which has led us down a path of destruction, drug addiction, lack of academic excellence, lack of stick-to-itiveness, lack of resilience. Or we can be spectacular we can be spectacular and work hand in hand with people and get the megalomaniacs and these narcissistic clowns out of place and put ourselves in play. But we must lay a foundation of information. Educate yourself on the system. Educate yourself on the system. The system that you're up against, educate yourself. And if you don't educate yourself, be around people who are educated about the system. Be around people who are educated so they can educate you. Then once you know, you start to work. Some of you can work on finance, some of you can work on property, some of you can work on entrepreneurship, but we all work together. We all work together, and then we uplift each other, and we become basically rungs on the ladder, and we continue to climb and we reach back. Before I go, I want to address this thing that I'm tired of hearing. It really grinds my gears when I hear this foolishness about crabs in a barrel. I hate it. We do not behave like crabs in a barrel. 550,000 people have tapped into my program. How is that crabs in a barrel? It is literally the number that I said I need to subscribe to my program and tap in every week, and I will be richer than I ever thought I could be. What I want you to understand is Black people are not crabs in a barrel. There are a few Black people that will tear you down. There are a few Black people who participate in nefarious activities. There are a few Black people that make themselves look horrible, and we are foolish enough to allow people to tell us they are an example of us. And we go with it. Oh, it's the crabs in the barrel syndrome. No, you have a few people acting damn fools that they are not trustworthy. But if we are crabs in the barrel, that makes you a crab. So are you telling me I can't trust you? Are you telling me I shouldn't listen to you? Are you telling me that whatever you're telling me, I shouldn't trust it and just get away from you? Because if you're not telling me that, then who are you telling me that about? See, we have to stop perpetuating the lie of no Black excellence, no Black unity, no Black support. Because watch this, Black women. When was the last time you went to one of these non-Black establishments to get your hair done? If it's any, it ain't many. So Black men, how many people have you let cut your hair that didn't look like you? How many people have taken their children and left them with people who don't look like them? And I'm not saying there's something wrong with those things. I'm giving you examples of why you support yourself. Why are you watching? If you're watching this and thinking about those questions, guess what you're doing? You're not acting like a crab in a barrel. So why are you allowing people to show you images of the worst examples of our community and you take it as fact? Well, that's what it is. That's how we behave. Why don't you look up how many young Black men and women are getting full ride scholarships to some of the most prestigious institutions in the United States of America, going to school for free? Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black engineers. Why don't you look around your grocery store the next time you go in there? Why don't you look around Walmart the next time you go in there? Who on the cashier? When you pull up at your next fast food place, look into the thing and don't you see somebody that look just like you? So how in the entire hell are you gonna tell me all our young people are no good? How you gonna tell me all our young men are no good? How you gonna tell me these men don't take care of their children? How you gonna go to a school and see how many dads picking up these kids? A ton of them, man. A ton of them. But you allow people sit on TV and say Black men go to jail. No, 58% of the prisons are not Black people. It's 38%, but you allowed it because they said it on TV. Just like our brother Damon said he was finna buy Revolt, and the people at Revolt said wrong. But Damon said it. No, it didn't happen. It did not happen. It did not happen, but we ran with it. And guess what? Vibe magazine put out a story about it. Vibe magazine put a story out about it. Didn't check any facts, didn't do anything. But hey, and again, it's the opposite of what I'm saying. They're not trying to tear down them, but they're They are not trying to help. If you putting out a lie, you are further putting more disdain between the people, the populace, and media, which is exactly how you destroy community. Media is a big player in the misinformation. Thank you, Poetic Sins. Thank you for the support. And if you haven't already, everybody hit that like, hit that share, subscribe if you haven't. It is important. But this is what I'm talking about. We cannot continue to regurgitate negativity about our community without at least, look, if you're going to tell me what something went wrong, also tell me some things that can go right or an answer to the problem. Enough of that. I got a homeboy who, when I start eating his ass up about the facts, he said, hey, well, let's just not talk about this anymore. Guess what? That let's not talk about this anymore lasted 7 days. This morning, on the way in, he sends me a thing. He sends me some information, more negativity, and I just politely text him. This is in violation of our agreement. If you don't want to talk about the facts, don't talk to me about nothing negative. Because I understand that it's a poetic sin. It's SWA. It is a Mukadeen. It is a RC. It is a DJ Mad Knox. It's a DeMarcus Gray. It's a Maurice. It's a Big Mo. And on and on and on. I understand that I know far more positive people than negative people. I don't know anyone with a child acting like YNs, as they call them, which I would never call a young black person that. I don't know somebody who's connected to one of these gun-toting, old lady shooting, kid beating people. Now, do I know some people who have children who have gone wayward? Of course I do. But all this chaotic, oh man, these young people are no good. Every time I see a young person, they on their way to work, they trying to do something positive. But you're going to tell me all these young people in Chicago killing, stealing, robbing, and shooting? No. They're not. And if you're stupid enough to believe what mainstream media tells you about you, and then when you're in your conversation with your homies, hey man, the media be lying. You sound like a damn fool. And I'm sorry. And no, I'm not. I feel sorry for you because you allow your enemy or people who are attempting to oppress you to tell you about who you are and what you represent. With that being said, I want you to listen to the end as usual. Dr. Claude Anderson at the end of this one. Dr. Amos Wilson is not going to close this show out, but he's going to tell you, he's going to give you the answers on how to fix these things. Again, it's one thing to identify a problem. It's something totally different to offer a solution. Whether the solution works or not is not the issue. Let's try the positive way to do it. And guess what? There's no such thing as failure. If you're attempting to fix something totally and you fix it 25%, you succeeded because the world is 25% better. And then you take that solution and you add more to that solution and make it 50% better. Then you make it 80% better. And then you try to get to 100. And the fight is constant. This is not a television show. This is real life. You don't have a great relationship. And then after the quarter point of the hour, you and the friend have an argument. And then the family talks about you and the friend arguing, put y'all back together. And then the last 15 minutes of the show, everybody is happy again. No, this is constant attack, constant attack, constant. It's a 24-hour attack. So you have to have 24 hours of positivity to combat that. With that being said, thank you for tapping in. And to recap, I want you to understand why I did this today. I'm prepared for us to rise and fight against the tyranny and the discrimination and the misinformation of our community so we can be the best we can be. I want you to understand that if you consider yourself a leader, you don't have to tell anybody you're a leader. Your leadership standard will be on display when you do what you have to do and not trying to shine. And walk away from the total chaos and the mass confusion that is presented to our community on a regular basis to make life better for you. And if at all possible, if you want to see that video in its entirety, go to www.theendofthebench.com and you can see, if you came in here late, you can see this video in its entirety. And right next to it would be the Black History video that I gave you. And if you have anything to talk to me about, you can always email me at theendofthebench@gmail.com. TheEndofthebench@gmail.com. And I want to thank you again for tapping in. Subscribe, hit like, subscribe if you haven't already. 2 fingers, 1 word.